So Titans Season 1 has now officially launched on Netflix and has brought the first series from the new DC streaming service international thanks to Netflix, and we have now been able to experience the first season of this new show where we are exploring the well-known DC Comics team-up, the Teen Titans. First little thing to mention, this review is going up on both my DC TV channel and also my film and TV channel, so, if you're a viewer of either or if you're a viewer of both and you're wondering if something's a bit off with this, that's why. I'm just kind of filming this video on my film set, but this is going up on my DC channel as well, so just in case you're wondering what's going on there, that's it. It's going up on both because I want to review this for both of my channels, so just clearing that up. So in regards to the DC Universe streaming service, which has officially launched in the US, I think that this is a huge missed opportunity because the DC Universe streaming service is something that I would particularly be interested in as a huge fan of DC. I love DC. Like I say, I have a whole channel dedicated to DC. You can see my DC Funko collection behind me along this wall. I love DC, and I think that this streaming service only being available in the US is a massive missed opportunity. I feel like a lot of people around the world would be very interested in this streaming service, including myself, and we can't have it. So we have to wait a few more weeks for these shows to be distributed internationally to Netflix, which is why I'm only bringing you this review now. It's because I finished it officially on Netflix, and although I enjoy Netflix, I like it a lot, I think I could do with the benefits of the other streaming services. But anyway, away with all that, let's talk about Titans Season 1. First off, Brenton Thwaites as Dick Grayson, aka Robin. I loved this role. I thought this was really good. I remember when they cast Brenton Thwaites, and I thought that was a perfect bit of casting because he was the best part, and in my opinion, the only good part of Pirates of the Caribbean 5. I think he was the only good part of it. So when he was cast as Robin, I thought that was great. And he's really good in this. Although it's not exactly a comics accurate representation of Dick Grayson, I really liked his way of doing it because this is a very dark show. This is a very gritty show, and in terms of that, they've taken Robin and made him a very dark character. The Dick Grayson version of Robin. Obviously, there are dark versions of Robin. Jason Todd, who is also in this show, Damian Wayne is another dark version of Robin. But the Dick Grayson version is typically the light and fun Robin. So to turn him into this dark character, although it's not comic accurate, it does line up with what the show sets up for him. And overall, the way Brenton Thwaites was able to deliver it, I thought was very good. He has the look, he has a superhero look. He looks like a hero. And the Robin suit is fantastic, I have to say. It's so good. I have to say, the costumes overall in this show, I don't think are great. But Robin's suit is fantastic. It looks like movie level. It's a really good looking costume. And overall, the performance for Robin and, Brenton Thwaites as Dick Grayson, I loved it. Then we have Anna Diop as Starfire, who I feel like Starfire got a bit of a short end of the stick here. I mean, Starfire kind of has a typical superhero movie trope where essentially she's lost her memory. She doesn't know what she's doing. She just shows up and nobody knows who she is. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know what her mission is. So I feel like Starfire, in terms of the writing, was not very well handled. She's not a great character in this show yet. In Season 1, she's kind of bare bones. I think Anna Diop does the best she can. I think she's really good. I actually think she's very charismatic, but the writing for the character and the way the character was used in the season, I think, was quite underutilized. And then we have Rachel Roth, aka Raven. I wasn't a huge fan of Raven personally. I just felt like the actress who they portrayed her was just, I think her name was Tegan Croft. She personally was just not strong enough to carry this role. And I don't like saying things like that because she is quite a young actress as well. She is, pretty much a child actor, but I feel like because the show and this season is so central to Raven, she's such a central part of it, you needed someone a lot more stronger to be able to carry that role, and I don't think she did that personally. I feel like she comes across a bit bratty, a bit whiny, and again, not strong enough in the acting department to actually pull this role off, which comes across very disappointing when you realise how central of a figure Raven is to the whole season. And then finally we have Ryan Potter as Beast Boy. This is a very interesting situation given the fact that Ryan Potter was pushing so heavily to play Robin in the DCEU. He really wanted to play Tim Drake. And now he's in the same show as Robin, but he gets to play Beast Boy instead of Robin. But either way, I really liked Ryan Potter as Beast Boy. I thought he was very good. Again, very charismatic. He was having a lot of fun. You can tell he was passionate about this role. And you could see that he really was having fun with it. And Beast Boy, although the CGI on him was not great, he only really turned into one creature throughout the entire season, which was a bit disappointing. Clearly, budget was an issue with this show, but it was kind of interesting to see it, and I did like seeing him in live action because it was kind of an interesting one to think, we've never seen this character in live action before, so what are they going to do with him? And I quite enjoyed it, and like I say, he is the best part of it. It's mainly just the CGI and the actual beast element of the character is where it gets letting down. overall, the character writing for the show is a big issue. I feel like the writing for all the different characters, although I think Robin does alright and Beast Boy does okay, but that's mainly because Beast Boy is not a massive part of this show, honestly. But when it comes to Raven, and especially when it comes to Starfire, the writing is very inconsistent, but also incredibly weak, like just for some characters in particular, and it's clear they wanted to focus on some and not others. While they really focus on Raven, it's not strong for her. They really focus on Robin, although it is strong for him, and then they don't really focus on Starfire, and it's not weak. It is weak for her, and then they don't really focus on Beast Boy, and it's fine for him. So, it's just every character gets different treatment, and it's incredibly confusing that, throughout this entire season, each character is handled completely differently. And some are handled okay, like with Robin and Beast Boy, and then others are handled completely wrong, like Starfire and Raven. Also, this show tries so hard to be edgy, and it's almost cringy at times. We kind of got this vibe from the first trailer when we had the infamous "fuck Batman" line from Robin, and that line is completely squandered in the actual episode as well. It's completely irrelevant, but I feel like the tone of the show is so off, and it comes across. Although I'm perfectly happy with them going for the dark tone, I don't have a problem with that. Even though the Teen Titans are typically a very light and fun team, I don't have a problem with this new take. What I have a problem with is the overuse of things like blood and violence and swearing in order just to make it justified to be an R-rated show. It reminds me of the Batman vs Superman Ultimate Cut, where they just added in loads of blood for no reason. That's what it reminds me of. They just had it in there just for the sake of having it without really any justification. And I've seen some people bring up the argument that it adds realism, but when you look at it, it's not really that. The reason why they did it was because they wanted to make it look like an R-rated, really edgy superhero show, and in the end, it kind of comes across as cringy. Also, like I say, costumes in this show, very weak. Although some of them are okay, like Robin's very good, Hawk and Dove's costumes are really cool, Starfire's is dreadful, Beast Boy's is not that great, and Raven's is also barely existent. I understand that obviously this is very early on. We probably will get better suits going into Season 2, especially for the other members of the Titans, as they're not really superheroes yet. But I feel like the problem is with the costumes is, it would have been fine if you would have said, oh, well, they're not superheroes yet, they're not going to have their own suits. And that would have been fine. That would have been a perfectly acceptable excuse. But don't make their costumes look like their superhero suits then, because they just look like really terrible Comic-Con costumes. Like Starfire's is by far the worst. She is basically wearing civilian clothes. She's not wearing a superhero suit, but it's very reminiscent and clearly very similar to what they were trying to do with the Starfire costume, so it just comes across as a really poor representation of what that suit is. Also, given the fact that this show is about the Teen Titans, it's kind of disappointing that the Teen Titans are the least interesting part of it. I was a lot more interested in all the other side characters they bring into this show. Jason Todd is in this. He was very interesting. Donna Troy was in this, and she was very interesting. Hawk and Dove were both very good characters, and the Doom Patrol, who they introduced in this, who are getting their own show in a couple of months' time, also on the DC Universe streaming service, were very good. My personal favourite episode of this season was episode 4, Doom Patrol. I thought the Doom Patrol were really funny, and just a really awesome presence to be around. Like, they were just these really interesting, very weird characters who just kind of come across as this awesome team, like these misfits, kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, that kind of thing. It works like in that kind of way, and I feel like it's very disappointing that out of all these characters, the Titans were the least interesting of the group. Also, the season finale for this show is one of the worst finales I've seen in a long, long time. It was honestly Walking Dead season 6 levels of bad. They tease up this big thing of Robin versus Batman. It's gonna happen. You're gonna see Batman. And you kind of see Batman, and then at the end, it's revealed that the entire thing was a vision. It's dreadful. I hated the finale. I thought it was awful. And it doesn't wrap up anything. It doesn't wrap up any of the storylines, the season storyline, and what's even more infuriating is that the showrunners and writers have actually come out and said that the season 2 premiere was actually originally intended to be the season 1 finale. So it's so obvious that they're just missing an episode, and it's just ridiculous. And the fact that they had this massive idea to do this big finale with Batman versus Robin and don't follow through with it, it just comes across as really lazy. Overall, I don't want to sound like I'm coming across too negative about Titans, because in the end, I did enjoy watching Titans. This show wasn't a chore to watch. Like I say, I actually went into every episode very excited to watch it. And in the end, looking back, I enjoyed the show. I just think there's some really glaring negatives about it that are holding it back from being as good as it can be. I do believe this show has the potential to be this fantastic superhero series along the same levels of something like Daredevil or Arrow. I feel like it has the levels to be something like that. But at the moment, it just has these really glaring flaws that are holding that back. going into season 2, I really hope that the show is able just to give a better writing to all the different characters and make the Titans themselves a lot more interesting, and really focus on that and really just dive deep into these characters, and maybe just add in another member. Like, we know we're getting Cyborg on Doom Patrol, maybe he could come over at some point, or maybe add in Wally West, you know, Kid Flash or Roy Harper. You know, bring in like a new member to actually spice up the team a little bit and make sure that they get the writing required to make it better, because like I say, this show has massive amounts of potential and I enjoyed season 1. It just could have been so much better. So have you guys seen Titans? If you have, make sure you let me know all your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let's have a conversation about Titans in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, if you want to see more movie reviews and TV reviews from me, be sure to subscribe to both this channel and also DC Central. And I hope to see you guys again in my next video.